Well, it's that time once again to call out Spectrum News New York 1, because yet again they are being so full of it. You know, a cop was shot in Staten Island, and, this is what they have on their homepage. I mean, this TV station will claim they care the one minute. Okay, I'm sorry if my vocabulary is off, because I'm just so mad at Channel 1. Alright? I'm so mad at them. I really, really am mad at them. You know where you have to go to find it? You know where you have to go to find it? Where you have to go to find it? Here! And they don't even have a video. They don't even have a video. What a joke this is. Meanwhile, we go to a good website like amnewyork.com, and they actually have it right on the homepage. So let's read what led to this shooting, because Channel 7 sent a reporter over to Staten Island. No surprise, because I have them on right now. It's afternoon, and I am trying to find out what's going on here, because I first heard about it on 1010 Wins this morning as soon as I woke up. So let's read this. A detective was shot and injured after a suspect opened fire during a police raid on Staten Island earlier this morning. The officer is now being treated at Northwell Health Staten Island University Hospital for injuries not considered to be life-threatening. While grateful the detective will survive, Police Commissioner Keechan Sewell pointed out that this is the third time in the first 20 days of the calendar year that one of New York's finest have been shot in the line of duty. We're grateful that they're all recovering, but we're mindful that this morning's shooting continues to underscore how New York's finest put everything on the line to the job we asked them to do. It's officers like those we witnessed today that I am sincerely grateful for their bravery, courage, and their willingness to make every effort to make this city safe. And they need and deserve the support to do it. Okay, so here we go. This shooting happened at 6 a.m. earlier this morning, so about 6 hours ago, inside the Hartman Houses public housing complex near the corner of Rockin Street and Nome Avenue. So we're going to look to see where this is. I bet this is a bad part of Staten Island, because there are housing projects of Staten Island. Hang on, I'm just looking up. Let's see if we can pull it up. Okay, what we can do is we can look up the intersection. That's what we can do. Alright, let's see where this is. So I may have an idea where this might be. Let's zoom out. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I know this area very well. This happened right by the Trader Joe's on Richmond Avenue. Are you kidding me? This is right by where my great-uncle's funeral took place. So I know this area very well, unfortunately. Now this really has gone personal, Channel 1. Now you really made this personal today, not covering this. Okay, let's continue reading. Chief of Detectives James Isaac said that detectives and other members of the Staten Island Narcotics Squad came to the location to execute an arrest and search warrant stemming from a long-term drug investigation. After entering the location, the team of officers ascended to the second floor when the shooter opened fire on them. Essex said, our officer was hit in the right leg, but heroically managed to cover the members of his team with his ballistic shield. Ah, okay, because Channel 1 did show that on their article. Alright, so Pizarro was taken to... Yeah, the other officer is Nelson Pizarro. Shot in the leg, so... Good news is the second officer is expected to recover. Okay, so the suspect is known for 7 prior arrests, including 2 gun-related cowers outside of New York City. Police also took into custody without incident the suspect of the arrest warrant, identified as 40-year-old Anthony Marshall. He was booked for criminal sale of a controlled substance. So, oh, look at this. Eric Adams is not even in New York. He's in Washington, D.C. This is ridiculous. Yep. And again, think about it. This is the third shooting this year. In fact, we're going to get to the other article in just a second. There was another shooting that happened in the Bronx that we'll get into in just a second. In fact, yeah, they actually do have the article link. Look at that. So we'll pull that up in just a second. But this is ridiculous. This is 3 weeks into the new year. We're 3 weeks into the new year, and 3 officers have been shot. 3! How is this allowed? You honestly think that any other municipality in the state of New York has had to deal with this nonsense? No other police municipality in the state of New York has had 3 officers shot in the first 3 weeks of the new year. So let's get into the next article. I'm sorry, but you know, when is the time to say enough is enough? Right? It's like all Eric Adams can do is just open his mouth, but yet nothing's being done. Nothing is being done right now. Okay, so here is the other shooting that happened in the Bronx. So here we go. 9:31 p.m. on January 18th, authorities said 6 uniformed police officers responded to an unruly group of youths at 2356 Lower Place in the Belmont section when a 16-year-old boy approached the parked NYPD vehicle with his hands in his pockets, according to Chief of Detectives James Isaac. Now, I will say the positive thing about James Isaac is that he's been in the department for a very long time. So he rose up the ranks, obviously. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Oh my God. This happened 2 blocks away from Arthur Avenue. As soon as it said Belmont, I had a bad feeling this was right by Little Italy. Yep. I'm sorry if I'm making this all personal, but you gotta understand that I have a lot of close connections to these areas where all these crimes have been taking place lately. Isaac reported that the teen refused to comply with commands to show his hands, leading to a physical struggle between an officer and the teenage suspect. During the scuffle, the suspect's gun went off, unleashing a single round that passed through his groin and into the officer's right leg. Both the suspect and officer were whisked away to St. Barnabas Hospital and are expected to make full recoveries. This area is known to law enforcement as a problematic block rifle with illegal drugs, guns, and gang activity. So that's obviously no surprise there, because as soon as you step away from Arthur Avenue, it's all hell that can be let loose. Oh boy, look at this. The wounded suspect is part of the Crips gang. I mean, again, at least the good thing is all these cops are going to be okay. But still, I mean, when is the time that's going to say enough is enough? I mean, look at this. And this is the type of weapons you have on the streets. The guns have got to be taken off. And yet our governor refuses to talk about gun violence. You know, Kathy Hochul just refuses to talk about it. And yet, look. Channel 1 even have an article? No. No. They don't. About the 11-month-old baby. We're going to get into that in just a second. There was an 11-month-old baby shot. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Then we're going to see what news is going to get ignored in Queens, and then we're going to get to a couple other stories that will wrap up this video. But it just shows, again, the true colors of Channel 1. They really could care less about what's going on, and they're just too focused on, yet again, COVID. I'm glad our numbers are going down, but still, I mean, we have all this crime going on, and, you know, I've just been noticing it's gotten a lot worse since Eric Adams has become mayor. Okay, here we go. The heartbreaking incident of an 11-month-old baby shot occurred during an alleged firefight between two men. An unidentified male chased another man before firing 2 shots. Law enforcement sources said the baby girl was in the backseat of the mother's parked car on 198th Street, Valentine Avenue at 6:48 p.m. on January 19th when the father was grocery shopping. When a bullet penetrated the back window, hitting the infant in the left cheek. Responding officers discovered the mother clinging to the child before having them whisked to St. Barnabas Hospital. So the young girl remains in stable condition but critical, and then was later transferred to Weill Cornell Medical Center. I mean, Chief McCormick is obviously upset. I'm upset. I mean, think about how tough his job has been since he became chief of detectives. Because remember, Rodney Harrison went to become Suffolk County Police Commissioner under Steve Ballone. So that's why McCormick, again, rose up the ranks. It's just disturbing. And guess what? I'll just randomly mention about Channel 1. You know what they're actually focused on today, too? They're focused on the former Mr. New Yorkers Love Me today. And they're all focused because his brother, the former CNN anchor, Chris Cuomo, this video testimony today. This is a joke. This is what they're all focused on today, when clearly we're dealing with a crime pandemic. I mean, this is a pandemic now. This is clarified as a pandemic. It's widespread. If you want to talk about the past 12 months of the calendar year, then this is a pandemic status. It really has. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to check the Queen's Courier to see what's going on over there. Oh, by the way, guess what? We are losing another business in Queens. No surprise. And then we're going to read this one. Robbery in Elmhurst. Where was Channel 1 on that? Nowhere to be found. In fact, no other media outlets covering it. So here we go. First, let's get to this, because this is a major story that should be covered. So the Bayside Walgreens on Bell Boulevard is officially closing its doors next month. So this was first reported by the Bayside Queens Facebook group. So here we go. So officially the last day of business for the location on Bell Boulevard and 39th Avenue will be on Tuesday, February 15th. So, company spokesperson told the Queen's Courier, as we move forward on our strategy to expand Walgreens as a leader in delivery of healthcare, we are focused on creating the right network of stores in the right location to meet the needs of the communities we serve. We have made a difficult decision to close this location. There are a number of factors that we take into consideration, including dynamics of the local market and changing buying habits of our customers. Oh, at least there's some good news. We'll get to that at the end of this video, I guess. The St. Patrick's Day Parade is happening. So that's good news. The one in Bayside, that is. Right, so I know this location very well, by the way. It used to be Rite Aid, but then Walgreens bought it out. That's why my Rite Aids and Fresh Meadows became Walgreens. We lost the other Walgreens on Union Turnpike because, obviously, what was the lesser of the two evils? Right, and remember, you have multiple other locations. Okay, so prescription vials will transfer to nearby stores. Customers do not need to take any action. The transfer is automatic, and our teams are looking at the stores, looking forward to serving them. So, pharmacy patients will receive a letter in the mail providing more information about their prescription needs. So, yet again, we lose another pharmacy. And I bet what they're doing is they're probably transferring most of the prescriptions over to the Walgreens on Northern Boulevard in Auburndale. That's what they're probably going to do. In some circumstances, they'll probably transfer the other prescriptions to probably the other Walgreens on 73rd Avenue. Because there is another one in that area. No, not right. Springfield Boulevard, right. 73rd Avenue is where CVS is. Right. Couldn't think there for a second because I'm just, again, so annoyed with what's going on. Alright, so let's get to what's going on in Queens. Robbery at Grand Avenue subway station in Elmhurst. So here we go. Monday, January 10th at around 9:40 a.m. Suspect approached a 38-year-old woman from behind at the entrance to the station. The man proceeded to place his arm around her neck and forcibly remove her purse containing her passport and $1,000 in cash. The assailant fled eastbound on Queens Boulevard, and there were no injuries as a result of this incident. Okay, so we do have a suspect description, thank goodness. Crime Stoppers says the suspect is a dark-skinned man around 30 to 40 years of age. He is 6 feet tall, weighs 150 to 160 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black jacket and jeans. So there is no arrest, ongoing investigation. So you have that going on, and which again, Channel 1's not going to cover. So I mean, look at what's going on here. So I'll read these two, and then we'll go back to the AM New York. So there are a couple stories I do want to read from there. Oh, here's some good news. The Steinway Library reopened. That's some good news for the Astoria community, at least. Alright, so first up, we got police are looking for an e-bike rider gunman who opened fire on a Howard Beach speed camera. This happened on January 7th. The man was riding an e-bike through the snow on a quiet residential street in Howard Beach around 3:18 a.m. when he came to a stop at the intersection of 86th Street and 158th Street, and he pulled out a handgun. The suspect was captured on surveillance video as he fired at the speed camera installation several times, striking it. There were no reported injuries. As a result of the shooting, no arrest. Oh, look at this typo. Cannot blame the Queen's Courier at all. They always have these blunders. Alright. So look at this. He's going to pull out the gun. Here it comes. He's going to pull it out. Wait for it. The camera didn't even go out. Oop. Sorry about that. My screen just went black for a second. Oop. What a fail. Alright. Then we got this. Suspect steals medical equipment from Ridgewood office. Police from the 104th Precinct in Ridgewood are on the lookout for a suspect who gained entry into a medical and dental facility on Thursday, January 13th and made off with medical equipment. Police say that around 10 p.m. on January 13th, a man entered a storefront on Fresh Pond Road near the intersection of Madison Street through the sidewalk metal grate, which appeared to be unlocked. So that was the... Who would do that? Well, hang on here. I want to look at this one. Once inside, the suspect removed various medical equipment and fled on foot in an unknown direction. The various medical equipment removed had undetermined cash value, police said, adding there were no injuries reported as a result of the incident. Okay, so Crime Stoppers believes that the suspect is in his 30s and described him as having a light complexion, 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing around 170 pounds. He was last seen wearing a light-colored jacket and jeans with black sneakers. So there you go. Oh, yes! This is a recent article. How could I miss this one? Car thief in Rego Park. So here we go. Just before 7 p.m. on Tuesday, January 4th, in front of 62-16 Woodhaven Boulevard, a man entered an unsecured and unoccupied parked vehicle, which was a 2011 Honda Odyssey SUV, and drove away using keys left inside by the 51-year-old owner. Oh, that's dumb. Why would you leave the car keys in the vehicle? Oh, that's how you're going to get robbed easy. Alright, so believe it or not, later on, the vehicle was found 3 hours later for being illegally parked in Astoria at 30th Road and 21st Street. So, you mean to tell me that you're in the middle of Queens, you steal this vehicle, and then you go to the northwestern corner of the borough and leave the vehicle abandoned? You just cannot make this stuff up. You just can't. Alright. So Crime Stoppers released a photo of a suspect who was described as a man between 20 and 30 years old. He was last seen wearing all dark coloring. Okay, so here we go. I mean, this is so dumb. I mean, just reading this made my brain cells go a little bit down. Okay. So I just want to take a look at this one. Another dumb robbery in Brooklyn. I mean... Oh, look at this. There was another fire in Brooklyn. Oh, we gotta read that. We gotta read that. So I'm gonna read 3 more. I'll read 3 more. Let's read this one. According to police, at 4:30 in the morning on January 18th, a 28-year-old man ran out of gas and took an Uber to a gas station at 1532 Bushwick Avenue. While he was at the gas station, the victim was approached by 2 unknown men in a silver Nissan Altima who offered to give him a ride back to his car with the gas can. When the victim entered the car, the suspects tasered him multiple times and took his car keys. The crooks dropped the victim off in a nearby deli at 1717 and demanded at the bank that they bring them money. The victim was then able to use a phone to call 911. The suspect then fled in the Altima, which had a damaged passenger side mirror with tape on it, as well as a missing rim on the front passenger side wheel, heading northbound on Broadway and then eastbound on Decatur Street. The victim suffered minor injuries, did not require any medical attention. According to Crime Stoppers, both suspects are described as men with dark complexions. The first suspect was last seen wearing a black hat, black jacket, blue hooded sweatshirt, black pants, and multicolored sneakers. It is unclear what the second suspect was wearing at the time of the incident because he was not captured on photos that the NYPD released. So there you go. So I'm just making sure. Oh, okay, yeah, so the keys were not left in the ignition. Okay, but in this case, the good news was in this situation, the victim is going to be okay. So that's the good news in this. So he was just tased. And this is a serious one. Driver dragged off the FDR Drive service road by a semi-tractor trailer. So where is Channel 1 on this? According to the driver of the vehicle, Michael Marbed had just turned onto the FDR Drive service road around 8:44 a.m. and stopped at a red light in Midtown on 37th Street when an Amazon truck gigantic tire collided with the vehicle. It's probably because of the bad weather today. That's what probably led up to this. His tire grabbed the back of my car and dragged me onto the sidewalk. He said he couldn't see me because of the rain and said he was sorry, so. I mean, it's very dangerous to even be outside today. I mean, with all the rain and snow out there. Yep, exactly. That's a big truck right there. Yep. Alright, so later on, the driver of the car said he is going to Bellevue Hospital sometime later today to get his back checked out. So that's good, at least. Okay. And then we'll read this last one. Because I think after this, I want to wrap up the video on a lighter note. Because there is good news for Bayside, at least. For once, there's actually good news about Bayside. Here in Queens. At about 2:30 p.m. yesterday, January 19th, FDNY personnel responded to a call regarding a fire at a vacant building at 50th Street and 1st Avenue. Upon their arrival, officers found heavy smoke pushing from the 4th floor windows in the 7th-story building, which was unoccupied and undergoing renovations. Units responded from the FDNY, used 2 hose lines to knock down most of the fire, and utilized ventilation fans to clear out the smoke. The fire was brought under control by 4:05 p.m., so almost an hour and a half this fire was burning. So it sounds like no injuries were reported, thank goodness. Alright, so let's get to the good news regarding the St. Patrick's Day Parade along Bell Boulevard in Bayside. For the first time since 2019, the annual Bell Boulevard St. Patrick's Day Parade here in Bayside, Queens will return. This is excellent news. So, it sounds like if all goes well, on Saturday, March 26th at 1 p.m., the parade will return. So this is excellent news. So the committee who runs the St. Patrick's Day Parade previously canceled the parade in 2020 due to the COVID outbreak. Canceled it again last year. Okay, so They technically did bring it back in September last year. Let me look at that. Interesting. So that's good news. They actually did bring it back late last year. That's good news, because we know the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Midtown on Thursday, March 17th is going to happen. Alright, so here we go. The St. Patrick's Day Parade will march down its route along Belt Boulevard from 35th Avenue to 42nd Street. So, assuming that the parade does happen, I would gather the Q13 and Q31 buses are likely going to be detoured due to this. So, maybe this is a good sign that the Memorial Day Parade along Northern Boulevard might come back this year. I know it's only 5 months out, but if you don't plan out sooner or later, you're just going to be behind. So there you go. Channel 1 not covering stories, and, you know, that's it for now. So thank you for watching.